Good morning, people. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. Good morning, good morning. And yes, my snoring little doggy says hello too. I apologize for the noise. Yes, today is Saturday, beautiful Saturday, and it is January 25. I'm sorry, January 23rd, I think, 2021. And the time is 4 p.m. Yes, good morning, viewer. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. I invite you to say hello in the chat room and to, when you all enter, to give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Good morning. Boy, thank you very much. Thank you for your thumbs up. Hey, Camp. How you doing, Camp? Yeah, I hope the audio is okay. Hope the audio is okay. I don't have the earphone on. So I'm trying to talk very close to the phone. I appreciate you guys coming on. Yes, good morning. Yeah, boy, so many things I want to talk about. I didn't know I was going to talk about what I'm going to talk about. Let me start. With me, it's always something that triggers something that triggers something. Well, how it started for me. Um, yeah, let me know if you can hear me. Okay, because I don't have the mic on that device. Um, yeah, the phone is plugged in. It's charging also. Yes. Yeah, I woke up today. I was sleeping and I was awakened by this loud explosions sound outside my window. Yeah. So I text a neighbor that lives down the road because it sounded like it was coming from that direction. And no response. And so I called the concierge at my building and asked them, hey, I heard this noise, this loud sound. It sounded like an explosion. And they said, yeah, there was this noise. So he went outside the building and he said that someone was playing with firecrackers of some type. Now, there's no holiday that I know of. Is there some holiday today or something? I mean, I don't know who's going to light something. I mean, it was so loud. It was really strong. Yeah, let me know, anybody, if there's some significance for today for someone to, like, it happened at 1:37 a.m. today, this morning. So, yeah, let me know if there is some significance today. So, upon awakening, time was moving really fast because I was just trying to find out what was going on. So, maybe that's all that it was because I did check over the internet and I couldn't find anything posted. So then, since I was already up, I started looking through, um, different videos. And this video caught my attention. The young woman that that spoke at uh, Biden's inauguration. Yes, I did watch the inauguration. Um, I did not agree with the inauguration of who was coming in, but for history's sake, for um, to see it firsthand, I wanted that knowledge. I wanted to look at the devil in the face. I didn't want this inauguration that just happened on what was that, Tuesday or Wednesday, to yeah, it was Wednesday, to intimidate me. So I did uh, piggyback the live stream that C-SPAN had shown, and I did a commentary throughout the portions that I viewed. And I already am getting, I did get criticism from this one YouTuber. They were just going on and on in their comments. At first, I thought they were just being informative, and I appreciate people being informative to me and giving me information. Um, and that's what I initially thought. So you could even look at um, the video. They put it back up, the video, because initially, about maybe 4 hours after it uploaded live stream, my my footage that I took, my commentary on the inauguration, it was pulled by YouTube for copyright infringement. Now, if someone's doing a commentary or educational, etc., um, it is your right for what do you call it? Fair rights usage. Okay. So I did contest it, and they did put it back up, and I'm very relieved about that. So yeah, so I did watch the inauguration that just transpired, and there was a young woman who spoke, did poetry at the inauguration. I love the color yellow. My apartment, one of my apartments that I had, I did in yellow. I love yellow. She wore a yellow, I was told that, well, it was a golden yellow, and she had an accented hairpiece in bright red. Her makeup was very tastefully done. She was well put together. And at the inauguration, I think it was at the inauguration that they had someone voiceover, or it could have been something. It was something. Someone did a commentary what she was wearing, very briefly, and yeah. I'm pretty sure of it. It was at the C-SPAN. But either way, um, it turns out that this young woman, her name is Amanda Gorman, and there's a lot of very interesting things about her. And one of the things that's really interesting about her, um, the first thing I heard that was interesting about her is that the earrings that she was wearing was gifted to her by Oprah Winfrey. And then the second thing that I just learned was that the young woman was also wearing a ring, and it's of a caged bird. And I think that knowledge of the ring and the caged bird ring, I think what led me to do this live stream, because there's some significance about the bird, you know. And before I went to bed last night, a YouTuber was talking about the inauguration and the significance of the bird at the inauguration. Not just the young poet, but they had Lady Gaga and she had a bird on the breast. And what I didn't notice the I wasn't really paying attention of the bird at the time of the inauguration when Lady Gaga came on. But when the YouTuber was commenting on the inauguration about the significance of the bird, then I looked. I said, "Oh, okay." Um, yeah. So, um, I think something about the bird just kind of just seemed to me something about a red flag. Now, nothing wrong with birds. I used to have birds, but it's just something that is just standing out now. Um, they were mentioning, this other YouTuber was mentioning that it was a, what's that? Maya, yes, yes, yes. Thank you for showing that. Yes. Let's see. Your Maya Angelou poem, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, Bill Clinton's inauguration. Yes, exactly. Thank you. You spoke before I could say yes. Yeah. For the young lady that wore the bird ring, yes, very correct. Maya Angelou, uh, the late Maya Angelou, and her book. I know why the caged bird sings. And again, Maya Angelou's a poet. And this younger is a poet. So anytime I hear anything with Oprah Winfrey now in today's politics, it opens my ears that there's something more behind something. Um, Now, initially with Oprah Winfrey, she was one of many talk show hosts. But for me, um, her significance to me now, I guess, linked with Harvey Weinstein and all the problems that's associated with him. Um, yeah, the caged bird. What is the significance of the caged bird? I never read that book. I know by Maya Angelou. And I did used to have birds. I know I'm kind of going a little bit all over the place, but hear me out. Now, the caged bird. Why do caged birds sing? Caged birds sing to soothe themselves. Caged birds sing to soothe themselves because they cannot get out. Sometimes you have people who hum, and I know of someone who hums. It was done to soothe themselves. Why do we want to soothe ourselves? Because you're caged. Who in life is caged? Well, what I see now, many of the American people and the globe are caged. And what's happening now, we're not singing, we're screaming. The caged bird now is screaming. But as for this young woman, her name is Amanda Gorman, very talented, beautiful. And so you had at least two accessories that were mentioned by name, her earrings and the ring. Was this presented to her for the inauguration by Oprah? And why did Oprah feel like she needed to do that? Amanda Gorman, um, has a very impressive background. She started out with humble beginnings as it pertains to her voice. She had a speech impairment and had speech therapy to correct. So, an amazing feat for her to now beautifully uh, do poetry, what they call the spoken word. She was discovered by um, Biden's wife. The young woman, Amanda Gorman, she was uh, she did a performance at the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress started sponsoring this event in 2016 for young people to perform. Um, I'm not sure if everything was poetry or spoken word, um, but she performed at it. And so, what what stood out again? This video that I was watching that was featuring Miss uh, Amanda Gorman. She's only 22, also, and she is a Harvard graduate. So again, I said, "Wow, Harvard," and that also triggered something in my head to want to do this live stream. So it wasn't just Oprah and giving this young woman or loaning this woman the earrings and the cage bird ring, but that she is a graduate of Harvard University. This school, Harvard University, keeps popping up in today's politics and everything associated with Harvard. Again, no disparaging on the young woman. The young woman, Amanda Gorman, is an innocent woman. But it's just, I'm, many of you who have been following my channel, you see, you know how I think. And I try to connect the dots. And so in life, sometimes innocent people can be used for people who may not be innocent. Okay? People use, like to use fresh, new, wholesome things for their projects. What is this project? What is the project? Well, I perceive that this Amanda Gorman is really going to skyrocket. Her social media had, they said, quadrupled since the inauguration, and rightly so. So, my thoughts again, the significance, the bird. It also reminds me of what they call the phoenix bird. Now, this isn't the phoenix bird that the cage bird is. I doubt that. Um, but I'm thinking about the phoenix, and in mythology, that how the bird, the phoenix, that it's a reincarnate, like the bird was that melted in the sun, is and something about its ashes get reborn. The phoenix is about the death and resurrection, about ending the old and bringing in the new. And Amanda Gorman's poetry that she gave over the inauguration was about the uh, to bring peace, and that the it be better from the prior year. So I'm thinking about that bird, and Lady Gaga. also wore a giant bird on her left breast, a very large one. It did have an olive leaf in its mouth, and that's supposed to be, and it was a white bird, so I presume it's the dove, the uh, symbol of peace to many people, and that's always a good thing. But Lady Gaga, in her past performances, is she about peace? She has she's a talented singer also, very entertaining. But what she projects is concerning at times. And why was she selected for the inauguration? So I gather, with this past inauguration, they wanted to show diversity. So they have a black woman, a white woman, and then they have a white male. Oh, and they also had another black male. So diversity, yeah, um, and that's always a good thing. But what is the significance? Okay, um, the yellow is for me a sign of peace. But what? How did this inauguration come about? The inauguration came not by peace, but by uh, violence. The violence at the ballot, the theft of the ballot, even though you had videotape of people stealing ballots, shredding ballots, and then numbers reversing itself from Trump to Biden. So this inauguration came about by deception. It came about by theft, dishonesty. But yet they have a young, beautiful woman who's relatively new at the scene, in to the general population who was watching, a fresh new face. See, this is part of the illusion. This is part of the illusion with this inauguration and this now new administration. And I perceive that this is going to be something common happening. A fresh new face, a sign of innocence and purity. But underneath, there is something brewing that it will not be pure and wholesome. You have tons of people, um, the what do you call it, the military, all over the place. Over, if I heard right, up to 60,000 troops. Now I don't know why you need that many people at an inauguration. Um, there was pretty much a lockdown, and only the invitees were at attendance. If I heard right, that 1,000 people were invited, were given tickets. I gather also that the people who were invited are all Democrats. That is what I perceive. I could be wrong. There could be some, I mean, oh, what's his name? Our former vice president was there. Okay, so he was a Republican. But what is really going on? What is brewing with all these troops in strategic areas? Never before has this been done. Even though they say they want peace and unity, how could you promote peace and unity when you got started, the people who are now in office, through violence? What violence are you talking about, Spirit Journey? Well, all throughout 2020, the year 2020, you had violence. And you had violence from pro Biden supporters. See, they don't word it like that, but I do. Pro Biden supporters. Who were these pro Biden supporters? This was Antifa and Black Lives Matter organization. And they were filled with violence and burning down buildings, burning flags, beating up middle aged people by giving them a sucker punch, and so much, much more, which is um, clearly demonstrated over social media. This is what was used to intimidate and to stronghold a population at bay. And in fact, this political party had encouraged this behavior and said that anybody who supports you know who to harass them. Is that right, people? That is not right. So, how could someone proclaim that they are about peace if they have said on several occasions by top officials to do harm to people based on their political beliefs? Is this communist China developing in America? That because if your political beliefs is contrary to those in power or want to be in power, they get eliminated. This is my concern. I do not care about what political party someone belongs to. I do not belong to any political party. I never have. And I never followed the presidential elections, things like that, because I never felt that my vote counted, because it didn't count. But now, with this new administration, they want to present the narrative that your vote matters when it doesn't. Because it didn't matter because an election was stolen. Clearly so. And when they said, to investigate further and to recount, they said no. So, what good is it? Your vote doesn't count. And this is sad for me. This is very, very sad. So, what else? What brings me to do this live stream this evening? Well, before I went to sleep last night, it comes to my memory again. A new YouTuber that I just discovered this past Wednesday. I think it was this past Wednesday. It was this week. And she is an independent reporter. And she goes, visits different locations, and she videotapes. She sponsors herself, I think. And she was attacked. She's a young biracial woman, petite, and she was bullied by these beefy looking people in size. They hit her in the head with an egg. They punched her in her lower back. They shoved an umbrella, an open umbrella, in her face. And all these horrors and used verbal violent phrases towards her, even though they didn't know her. See what's happening? That happened in New York City, and they threatened her harm because she was standing in a park, a public park, and they were saying that this one woman, a black woman at that, um, came up to her. She was not one of the ones that were physically harming her, but she came after the fact, and again, try really her point was to intimidate her, but make it sound innocent, and said that, oh well, this is our space. This is our space, and you should respect our space. Now, I'm a native New Yorker, and my tax dollars pay for that public park in Manhattan. It was around 25th Street and Broadway. Very nice area. And I've been there several times actually this year. It was very pleasant. And that is a public park. And so, because it had Antifa and Black Lives Matter people, now they did a march down Broadway. They started from Central Park's Columbus Circle and traveled southward bound to 25th Street. And so you had many reporters there filming. And this young lady was one of many people. And all of a sudden, when they had gotten into the park and they were, it was the end of the official march. I think this was on the 10th of January, this march the 10th of January, this march that took place in New York City. Someone comes up to her, and then this signaled like vultures the other people from those organizations, and then the attack happened to her and they swarmed her. And so it happened again. Um, this new attack happened on this past Monday, on Martin Luther King Day, and there was another march slash riot in New York City. And this was downtown, and they wound up at 60 Center Street. That's a federal building, I think the Supreme Court building. And she was there filming, like other people had their gear, their telephone, what do you call it, their cell phones, and they're filming. And again, she's on the outside, and the cops were near her also. And she said that she's going to make sure, she's going to, because she was attacked before. So she said she make sure she's not alone this time. But the attack happened again. I agree with you, and Americans should be able to travel freely without fear of intimidation. Fear of intimidation. Welcome to the hypocrites of the left. Yes. Hey, Jet Juice. Yeah. Hey, Jet Juice. Haven't heard from you in a while. Yes. Good morning, Jet Juice. Yeah. So this young woman, see, she's a tiny lady. Tiny. Yeah, I miss you too. Yeah, I miss you also. So this woman, again, a tiny woman, and she just has her camera, and she is filming live. See, that's another thing. Film live, people, because see, when it's live, it's not edited, and when it's live, it's real. And she's filming live, and she gets first it was like I think a guy starts coming near her. I mean, in her space, and she says, "You're getting." She says, "Whoa, you're getting kind of close to me there. Hey, back off. Don't touch me." And she kept saying, "Do not touch me." And then others started coming. Then women, these big ladies, started coming. And then guess what they did to her? They punched her in the back, and then they grabbed her camera, her $1,000 camera, and snatched it from her. She starts screaming. She has more than one device on her. That was another interesting thing about this YouTuber. She always has more than one filming device running in case one something happens or the battery, whatever. But yeah, that she's a smart woman, and I think she's also uh, 22 years old. She's young. And she starts screaming, "You stole my camera! You stole my camera!" And then the police intervened and got it back for her. Yeah, they're doing this in front of the police. The police are there near her. And you even heard them saying, "Oh, why are you standing next to the police? They're not going to help you." See, when this election took place, the inauguration specific, it made the left, the far left, very, very cocky. It's like a shock when they smell blood or if they perceive someone got hurt. They know they hurt the election, your vote. Think of when your vote was stolen from you as blood being poured, and it made them act like a shock, and they attack more viciously. So Biden's in office now, and this isn't going to have them. And now again, uh, they're in, and I cannot change that. But violence is never, physical violence is never accepted, especially on those people who aren't fighting you. And so this new administration is continuing to use Antifa and Black Lives Matter organization as its thug thuggery to intimidate anybody who they perceive as being someone to the right or anybody who's in opposition to them. But how do they decide who is in opposition? Because the lady said nothing. She is watching a uh, a march on Martin Luther King Day, and they were getting uh, saying hateful things to the cops. They were saying hateful things to individuals that you hear on camera. They were thugging people and ganging on people. They were doing this, standing up on these things in the park and doing this weird dance and waving something in the air, wearing these weird costume suits at one point when they arrived at 60 Center Street. Is this was that um protest? I mean, what are they protesting? They were chanting Black Lives Matter. Well, yes, we all know that Black Lives Matter. So why are they doing violence on a holy day? The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was a man of peace. He was somebody who didn't ask to join the civil rights movement because there was inner conflict within black politics. They were backbiting each other, so they wanted to get a neutral person, someone that is safe. So the older black community leaders knew about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So they asked him to be the mouthpiece for the movement. Okay? Now, he is a man of peace. He never approached somebody and shoved an umbrella in somebody's face. He never punched a little person in the back. He never disrespected the law enforcement. So, people, why did they do that on his birthday? Did you know when they do things like that, the Antifa and Black Lives Matter, did you know that they are bastardizing the memory of the king? They are bastardizing a holy day. This man died violently to protect the uh, the freedom of all people. He didn't say, "Oh, you're a Democrat or you're a Republican or you're a liberal or you're conservative or you're this or that." He never did that. He truly was a man of peace and wisdom. And unfortunately, he was stabbed in the back by people who worked with him. So, again, this march that was on Martin Luther King Day, why did they feel a need? Okay, Mark and that's all Buckley Martin Luther King Day. Should we don't know how much more. Yeah, that would be nice. Yes, yes, I agree. They should get black leaders, or Harriet or Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Crispus Attus. Yeah, get those people. See, those people sacrificed their lives. But you have these new people who aren't respecting the people who they claim they represent. It's not about what political party you belong to. I'm talking about behavior. Everything that I say in this live stream is about behavior. You can have any opinion you want. You can vote for whoever you want. You could support anyone you want. This is not why I'm doing this live stream. My live stream that I'm doing right now is about what you do. And what's being done is acts of aggression and the excuse. You are using the history of Black America and exploiting it to cause some of us to get angry and want to lash out. But these people who are lashing out are not true members of the community. These are organizations that do not represent me. Black Lives Matter organization is not a black organization about the freedom of the wellness of the black family. They are not about the black family. They are about changing. Um, they are they are an organization that's a part of the LGBTQ community. I am not a member of that community. You have your right to be in that community if you of that community. But do not pretend to represent the black family when you're about the LGBTQ movement and as well as Antifa. Antifa is an organization and their behavior speaks for itself. Okay, gosh. Keep up. Okay, I'm reading Judges. Judges is saying, gosh, you're talking so much sense tonight, sister. You keep it up. I'm enjoying listening to it. Finally, a New Yorker who understands common sense. I appreciate that those words, Judges. Yeah, it's I want to see if freedom is for everyone. Freedom is not saying that my rights or my beliefs are to be to subjugate your belief. That's not freedom. That is not even what it's about. True freedom is about self expression and it's in nature should edify people. Violence does not edify people. Violence destroys. Self expression is like pouring rainwater on a withering plant. It is to facilitate growth and maturation and wellness, true liberation and freedom. That's what it's all about. But with this march that happened on Martin Luther King Day was not about cultivating wellness. It had no wellness to it, but chaos. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was never about chaos, but his actions did spark chaos in his opponent, who were racists, who did physical harm to a segment of the population, the black population at that. See, Martin Luther King's movement was to expose the wickedness that was in the hearts of a governmental system that plagued America. And now, what's happening now in Black American politics? Well, in this coming administration, I perceive you're going to see fixtures all over the place. What do you mean by fixtures, Spirit Journey? Well, a fixture is something that shows. It's something showy. It is in nature to accent a room, an object, but it in itself is really dormant. It doesn't really do anything but just sit there and be showy. Okay. It doesn't really have any true function other than the veneer of something. It's what's underneath. And so, this Amanda Gorman um, that I discussed in the very beginning of this live stream, she is a fixture, a very beautiful one, wearing a beautiful yellow coat. And I was told that it is what's the name of that? Prada, a Prada suit. Prada is very expensive clothing line for the very rich or people who think they're rich. It's a very, very expensive brand. And I wonder, did Oprah Winfrey also gave her that? It is known that Oprah gave Amanda Gorman the earrings and the caged bird ring. Now, this is a new graduate from Harvard. Now, you're going to have a lot of student loans, okay? Okay, she's 22 years old, and so it takes people about 4 years to finish college. She was a sociology major. Okay. So she's okay. So let's say she went to college at 18 and she's 22 now. That's 4 years. So it's safe to say she is a new graduate from Harvard College. Okay, John Lennon was a kind of great songwriter of revolution. If you are talking about destruction, you can count me out. Love is all you need. Calm is calm. Oh, thank you for sharing that, Jet Juice. That was beautiful. Yeah. See, that's how come this whole new administration, what it characterizes. These are the different fixtures that are out there. See, they're using Amanda Gorman for one. She's a black female and she's young. And this administration wants you to be mesmerized by the black woman, and the black woman being a sign of progression. Okay? Get that. This is very important, people. They want you, this administration is using the veneer of the black woman as a sign of progress in America. But this is a veneer and not the true reality. And this is why I say so. Well, if this was a sign of progression, uh, if I'm sure that some of you know that Kamala Harris, she ran for president last year. And she dropped out early last year. So in 2019, she was campaigning to run for the President of the United States of America. I never heard of her until last year over the summer when Joe Biden asked her to run for, to run under him as vice president. But see, earlier that year in January, Kamala Harris uh, bowed out of the presidential election because she only had less than 1% backing of the vote. You know, when they do polls, I think it was less than 1%. So the black community did not back her. The white community didn't back her. No one backed her. So why didn't they back her? Well, they don't know who she is really. And uh, she's really not uh, behind the black community. See, her politics, she's a senator, or was a senator in California, and it is known that she had wrongly had some black men put in jail. Okay, she did not protect the wellness of members of the black community, but had them be um, arrested when she had the power to get them out. But she chose not to. See, don't go by what people say, go by what they do. Don't go by what people say, but go by what they do. What did she do for Black America but had them be put in jail? Okay. She did join a sorority at um, a school, a Howard University. That was Howard. And so she has that backing of the sorority girl. And when you become that member of a sorority, you are about their agenda. But not even they really backed her because she had less than 1% of the polls and she had to drop out. So, what happened, people? Well, the veneer is getting uh, thicker and thicker. See, Biden needed to win, and he needed the black American to win. I live in San Francisco. Kamala Harris was incompetent as a simple district attorney. Oh, that's right. She was attorney. That's right. And now she is going to be president in 2 years when Biden falls by the wayside. Trust me, it will happen. Oh, yes. Oh, you're doing well. Yes, yes. No, you're not using the micro. Keep on going. Yes, share your thoughts. And thank you for sharing that you're from California. See, there is deception in this inauguration. Deception on many levels. who Biden represents. Biden represents the Communist Chinese uh, politics. It is the Communist Chinese party, I should say, that he is backed by. He is not being backed by the general American population. You never saw them outside um, campaigning for Biden. You never see that. You don't see that in New York. You never saw it. Sure, you see one or two people with his button or something like that, but you never saw them campaigning for Biden. Why? Because no one wanted him. And no one wanted Kamala either. Yes, she is a puppet. And so the veneer gets deeper and deeper. It's thicker, this veneer, in order to camouflage his true intent. So, to help ensure he get in the White House, if the stealing of the ballot didn't work, he needed a brown puppet. And so, see, they really don't like black people either. Okay, that's why they chose a biracial woman who's married to a Caucasian man. Okay, Kamala went to high school in Canada. She was raised by her Indian mother from Asia. Okay, now there's nothing wrong being biracial. I am of biracial heritage, and there's nothing wrong uh, having an Asian mom. But see, you are who your mother is, and you learn her culture, her foods. She was not raised really in her important years in the black community. She was raised in Canada. She went to high school in Canada. Why is that? Why is that? So then she needed to, how you say, she needed to, like Obama. Obama did the same thing. He needed an in inside the mainstream black community. So, from Hawaii to Indonesia to California to New York and then to Chicago was Obama's um, path to the black community. Okay. And then he became a member of this black church and, his job. Okay. The job that he got in Chicago is where he met, oh, Michelle. Okay. And Michelle, I guess, was his beard to get inside mainstream black community. Okay, he had no dealings with black people in Hawaii, and I would believe even back then. Like I lived in Hawaii also, and when I arrived in Hawaii about 22 years ago, we black people made up maybe 1% of the population. It was told to me. So just imagine of 50 plus years ago with Obama, probably even less than a half percent of black people lived on Hawaii. So he had no black people socialization, and then they sent him to Indonesia, which is zero black people. Okay, so he needed to work quickly. And it's very evident that Obama was being sponsored by somebody powerful. See, there's a lot of missing pieces in Obama's life. The part from when he left high school and then when he became 27 and hit the uh, politics. Oh no, what was that? He was in his 40s. Okay, so 27 to 40. What's he doing? A lot of missing pieces. Okay, and even his mom has a lot of missing pieces. Okay, so the same as Kamala Harris. We really don't really know that much about Kamala before she became a senator. A senator, but she used a beard also. Okay, she was not raised in a black community. Um, she's raised as an Indian girl, Indian culture, Indian food, and her father was a Jamaican national. He was not an American either. So what do you do? Because you're gonna, her sponsor, yes, she is being sponsored in some form. And so they needed to quickly initiate her into some black connection. And that's where the historically black colleges come in. So from Canada, she went to Howard University and became a member of a sorority there, a black sorority there for credibility. What this should be teaching you people that many of our once loyal black organizations are now sellouts. Let me repeat. These once trusted black organizations are now um, not what they appear to be. They are sellouts. They are people or institutions who no longer are about the integrity, the safety of the black community. Wouldn't they have, um, why would they have her? Why would they have her? Why would they accept her in the organization? Nothing about her is of the black community. Who did she marry? She did not marry a black man. And again, that is her business. And you could marry anybody you feel like marrying. That is your business. So, where is the connection? So, you have people who, like, when Kamala was running for president, she pretty much outed Biden when they were in campaign, when they um, are at a podium and all the candidates speak. And she said on camera and pretty much outed Biden as being someone that associates with segregationalists. It's on video. See, she was safe enough, she was smart enough to say that she said, well, I don't think you are a racist, but you did this and you associated with that, and I was that little black girl that you did that too. Remember that speech? Remember that. So, how could Kamala represent the black community when the man that she is indirectly accusing as being a racist because who he backs in history was segregationalist? So, how could she, in her right mind and ethics, accept Biden's offer as her being the VP? Hello, hello, people. How could she, in good consciousness, accept that offer? She outed him. and indirectly implied that he too is a racist, but she cleverly said, well, I don't think you are a racist. Because, see, she knew, I perceived that she knew if she didn't get um, the, what do you call it, the spot as president on her own initiative, that she's going to have a way in by saying, oh, well, you're not a racist, but I have this issue with you. So now she could then accept his offer as a running mate as VP. So she thinks she's saving face. But those people of the black community who are really of integrity and ethics could see through her. She is an opportunist. And yes, they are using Kamala as the color card of acceptance, of acceptability and inclusion of American politics. They give making you feel comfortable that this administration is about black people. Yeah, because now you have a black vice president, black slash Asian uh, I mean, vice president. And then you had a lot of black speakers. People, did you know that the Democratic Party was founded by the Ku Klux Klan? Did you know that? Did you know that the Democrat Party is a party of intimidation upon the black race when it got founded? Did you know, Black America, that the first people who were black people who were voting right after slavery helped form the Republican Party? I repeat, the black people of America helped form the Republican Party. Did you know that black people helped form the Republican Party and were Republicans, not Democrats? Not Democrats. So what happened? Another hijacking, people. The Democrat Party are masters of hijacking people by intimidation, by beating up people, by burning their houses, and other horrendous things. And then now, in today's politics, they're using black people's face as an in to politics. They are promoting politics that will ultimately harm the black community. Why do you say that, Spirit Journey? Why would you say such a thing? Okay, well, we just had the inauguration, and you had tons of military presence there. There were no Trump supporters there. There were no excuse me. There were no riots there. Who are they protecting? Okay, who are they protecting? Is this a sign that Biden has is using their show as an intimidation? That now he is now commander of chief in America? What if Trump did that? You would have called him a few names. So why is it that when the Democrats, do this, why is it acceptable? Why is it acceptable for them to use thousands and thousands of um, military there? See, start connecting the dots, people. Start connecting the dots. They are using the black face as a pacifier, as a soother to the general population, just like Obama. Obama was used to pacify people, to get them off guard because they're going to implement things that you will not accept, like permanent masking of people, curfews, and yes, this Biden is not going to stay long. See, they were testing out Kamala. They know that no one wants her. She is an initiate of some sort. And the type of man she married also signified to me, and he has a Germanic name also. She has she doesn't go by the last name of her husband. Why is that? Well, if she has a German name, she's not going to attract black people. So she keeps her Anglo sounding name, Harris. But that is not her last name from her husband. Just saying. And again, for her to not use the name, it's again camouflaging her true identity. Okay? Her true identity. Be careful of people who try to camouflage their true representation. And again, people could marry who they feel like marrying. If a woman wants to change her last name when she marries or keep it, that is her business. But I'm just saying, these are some of the dots that you need to connect to really see a greater picture what she represents. What does she represent? She represents change. I'm sorry, people. And I did mention earlier about the bird. See, the young, beautiful poet who was uh, at the inauguration, they made a point of letting you know that she wore the caged bird ring. Yes, signifying also Maya Angelou's book, Why Does the Caged Bird Sing? Well, the caged bird sings to soothe itself. That's why. And they're lulling you to sleep with this administration. See, they're giving you a false sense of security by having her there, and that Oprah's hand was upon her. So she is a high initiate, this new upcoming poet who was discovered by Biden's wife when she saw that the young woman was at the Library of Congress. The Library of Congress has this new thing where they sponsor these um, artists, and she was one of them. And so, using politics, Biden's wife invited her to go invited her to the inauguration to speak. So they're giving you the veneer, people, of acceptance of a young black woman. This was the other thing that I thought was important to say. What I noticed that they don't want to have, now they did have a black minister, Don't you notice? Even Trump had a black minister also, which was really interesting. But um, why didn't they have? Well, let me rephrase this because it did have a black man speak. He was a minister, but um, something. Now, what I want to say is, see, they also had that young poet. They showed some clips of her. I believe it also could have. It was in some room, and it had like a display of events that happened. It was photos and captions to those photos of the civil rights movement, and they show her walking past this. Now, so they want you to see her associated with civil rights and freedom, but yet this administration got its position by using force and violence. But I'm curious when they use black women in politics today. Now, yes, I am a black woman, born and raised here, and I am a vet also. But it's something that I notice in part of the veneer. See, they get the black woman as the mouthpiece for the black community. But you notice in the Civil Rights Act from the 1950s to the 70s, they used black men, alpha black men. But you notice now they do not use the alpha black man. They do not. They get the soy boy instead. Hear me again. They will not, the mainstream, the cabal, will not use the alpha black male of the civil rights movement ever. It will use the soy boy, soy, S as in Sam, O Y. You know that soy is an estrogenic product, a food, estrogen, estrogenic. That is a female hormone. It softens a person and it softens a man's temperament. And that's what's happening today. That many of the black men are becoming soy boys, but the black man who is aware of what's going on, they will not use. So instead, they use a black woman of proficiency instead because she's less threatening. Okay, hear me out again. They use the black woman because, see, they giving her a false sense of acceptance and that she is now being used as the head of the black family. And she doesn't realize, or most of us don't realize, that this is to our detriment because, see, they have kicked out the black man from the family. Listen again. The system is trying to destroy the black family by destroying the black male presence from the home. They are eliminating the presence of the black man from the black home. And so they're prompting up the black female as the new leader of the black community. Now, again, I am a black woman, and we often hear in the black community in social media about the black queen, right? And many black YouTubers use in their channel name about being the queen. Well, every queen better have a king. Okay? There's nothing wrong being the queen of the black community, but where is your king? Black woman, where is your king? Black woman again, where is your king? Why have you forgotten your king? Are you being paid black woman, black American woman, to allow them to uproot the black king of the community so that you can get into politics? Let me repeat. Black women of America, are you allowing the system to kick out the black male present, your black king, from the community in order that they prop you up in politics? That's what it looks like. And so Kamala Harris, being a biracial woman, and again, none of her parents are American, okay, were born in the United States, and they have no connections to America until they came to the country for college, okay? So, why is that? Why is the system not wanting to put in office someone that has two black parents, a black mom and a black dad from America? Well, I tell you why. They don't like black people, and they're not about the continuity of black America. So they are getting outsiders and pretend that they represent you. They do not represent me. Kamala Harris does not represent me, an American black woman. And yes, I have mixed blood, but I was born in America, raised in a black community, and live in a black everywhere black people live. And I've done volunteer work at a predominantly black place. I am vested in this country and in the black community, but not Kamala Harris. And neither was Obama. So, people and black people, please wake up. Why is the system never allowing the true black American represent black politics and government? Why did they choose Obama from another country when there are plenty of black men here who are generationally here and whose identity is black and with both black parents? Why is this? Why is this system using mixed race black people to represent them? For another example, uh, Meghan Markle, who married Prince Harry of Britain, okay? Meghan Markle, who married Prince Harry, okay? Have I said enough? They will never have a true black woman representing any of those institutions. And why is that, people? Because they don't like black people. And why don't they like black people? Because the true black race is indigenous to this planet and indigenous to everything. And this planet was usurped many years ago and usurped by the people that you see in office all over the world. And so when you go to North Africa, you see a large presence of the what they call the Arab. The Arab is not indigenous to North Africa, but the black man is. The black man is indigenous to many parts of Asia, but do they dominate now? They're no longer a major feature. They are hybridized to look like what they look like now. They lost their identity. And the same as the African of North Africa. And now the system again is using black people who are not vested in the black community or to help the black community. And they have high initiates. Now, Oprah Winfrey is a black woman on both sides of her family, but she's not about the black community. Even though she's giving the black woman, the poet from the inauguration, uh, expensive jewelry. And I wouldn't be surprised if her clothing, because she's wearing Prada, a new graduate from Harvard School for Sociology, you're going to be buku in debt, right? You're going to be in debt paying off those student loans. So, how could she afford Prada? She has a sponsor, and Oprah is one of them. Okay, did you hear me? Now, Oprah was friends with Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein was involved with um, the violation of women in Hollywood that was going on for many, 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 many years. And also, um, oh, I was going to say now. Now, that yes, this poet also went to Harvard University. Okay, Harvard University. Now, Harvard University is the first university that was chartered in American history. The first school ever chartered in America. Now, do you notice Harvard University keeps popping up? Harvard University popped up with Jeffrey Epstein, the man who allegedly was trafficking young teenage girls and having sex with them, and who mysteriously died in prison about a year and a half ago. Okay. Now, Jeffrey Epstein was associated with Harvard University in this genetics program. And then more recently, Harvard University is also associated with the uh, COVID virus, right? Harvard University is also associated with the COVID, and that allegedly these two students from Harvard University had gotten a sample of the virus to bring to laboratories in China. So, people, the system and the cabal keeps using the same institutions over and over and over again. It's not by chance that she went to Harvard University. Okay? The cabal uses, and you have to be a member of certain institutions. Okay? You have to be associated with specific institutions to be used. So that includes Ivy League schools. So the poet is a graduate. I believe she is a graduate. She at least attended Harvard University. And who else? And then Kamala went to Howard University, a historically black university. Okay, so those are two Ivy League schools, and both of them associated with this inauguration. Okay, this is important to know because it's these institutions that facilitate certain things and trends and events to occur here. So, again, the uplifting of the Black American woman is being pushed very heavily this past, 2020. And the Black Lives Matter organization is run by black women, which is also funded, well, is funded by someone outside of the community. But yet they're supposed to be representing you, black family, but yet no black families are in there. And that organization is under the LGBTQ community. Now, most people are not members of the LGBT community in the black community. Okay, so how could the minority of this uh, movement run the majority of us? So that is problematic for me. Again, it is your choice what orientation you want to live by. That is not my argument. My argument is that people who are not of the majority of the black community, who are non members of the LGBTQ community, are running and pretending to represent you, black family. How come they feel to have men, alpha men, in their organization, yet the organization claims to come about because of the killing of Trayvon Martin, who was killed or murdered, in my opinion, by George Zimmerman in 2012? Why are they pretty much winging it as a female organization? Well, that's because it is an LGBTQ organization pretending to represent the black community. Black community, you need to start speaking out and start representing yourself. You need to start representing yourself because they're pushing a narrative that is going to be to your demise. They are going to be the demise of the black community. And again, with this beautiful poet who spoke at the inauguration, her name again is Amanda Gorman. Now, why, let's say, you get a man and you get a woman. Do you think if they got a black male poet, do you think they're going to accept him? The only way how they will accept a black man if he's part of the LGBTQ community. They will not get a straight black man to say what's really on his mind. How could an awake black man speak certain words? They will not allow him to speak what's really true, what's really happening to the black male in America. He's being soy boy. They are putting soy in his food and make him walk with a limp wrist. That is the reality. I live in a very big city, and more I see men acting theatrical And one even tried to compete with me foolishly. Let me talk to you about this. It's almost funny. I was sitting down, this could have been, um, I think this was in 2016, and I was just sitting down with my little doggies at a bench. And next to me was a restaurant, and one of the workers of the restaurant comes to the door, stands at the front door, and sees me with my dogs, and he just said hello, that he liked my dogs. But moments just before he came out, there was a gay man who was greeting a white gay man by grabbing his buttocks, the white man's buttocks, and lifting him up in the air, and then they were just talking story. And then they parted, but the black man remained at that spot. And when the um, person from the restaurant came out, another white man, and when the white man attempted to talk to me, the black man ran up to him and then said, "Oh, I see you got a ring on your finger." Oh, well, but he was trying to come on to the man, but when he saw the married ring. So look at that. This black man did not even want the white man to talk to me regarding my little doggies. He was on the sex prowl and was out and about to get any white man by any means necessary, and even trying to upstage me. And I was just sitting minding my own business. And he felt the need, the black man had a compulsion to do that. Look at that. This man, black man, didn't even have the respect to have the restaurateur to just say hello to me because he liked my little dogs. See that? They want your spot. And it seems like in American politics that the only black man, that they will use is a soy boy. Look at television. Look at the television news, people. The only black men that you see are the biracial looking types and the soy boy. So that's two things, biracial looking and a soy boy. Soy boy. They do not use the real alpha male. He is now non existent in America. And they mean that to happen because, see, remember with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he was a black man and he was married to a black woman and had black kids. And that the agencies wanted to prevent another black messiah. Can I get a hello out there? Can I get a hello? You hear me? That's what was happening. That's what was happening. Yes, the soy boys are now being promoted, and the alpha black male is now being kicked out. And so they're telling the black woman, you can be a single mom and you can marry a white man, and only then will we use you in politics. But God forbid, if this is a new school person and both parents are black, both parents are American, and that they're married to a black person. They're not going to use that. They're not going to use someone who's uh, with that. And so I can't help but rephrase that. You are not the true Black American. Is not being used today because they're being pushed out because Black lives don't matter. But they want to give the veneer of inclusion by using Black women to be the mouthpiece, but they won't dare get a alpha black male to tell you the truth what's happening in America today. They don't dare. So the news people do the same thing. Get the soy boys and get the LGBTQ member, and only then will they be used. We are being used. We are being fooled. Many of us. Don't be their fool. Waking up, wake up, America. Regardless what your race is, don't believe the hype with this past inauguration. They are going to step by step, like they pushed out the true black leader of the community, they're pushing that black man out. And with no black men to protect the family, the cabal can destroy our community. And that is what happened. Trump was an alpha male. Trump is an alpha male. And yes, he has a personality. He is what he's always been. He's not a fake. He is exactly what you see. He doesn't have to hide. But see, they want to get rid of the alpha male. They want to create the soy boys. That's why they're creating all these GMOs in the food because they're feminizing the man. They're feminizing the man. They're feminizing the man. And they're masculinizing the female. Hello. Hello. That is America. That is what it's becoming, a reversal. And yes, most likely they're going to remove Biden and they're going to put in Kamala to finish the process of the inversion of America, the beautiful. It is an inversion of what it was. They're creating a new America where you have no rights, where you have no land. I doubt Kamala is going to try to, if she's about black people, the 40 acres and a mule. You think she's going to implement something like that? I doubt it. They're going to force us to live in micro cities. These what I mean by that, they're going to cram people, the remaining people in America, and force the mass majority now to live in mega cities and in micro size apartment units. That Bloomberg, yes, Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York City, Bloomberg um, had at least, if he didn't initiate it, he was at least uh, promoting it. And they showed the blueprint, the scale of the size of the room, just a little bigger than a closet. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And they're going to implement that in America. So for them to initiate that, because see, where I live, there are tons and tons of apartment, buildings, skyscrapers being built. But they're not the micro apartment units. In order for them to initiate that, that means there has to be a destruction of these large cities, like the bird, get me, people, like the bird that is characterized in this inauguration. That bird, the phoenix. See, they want you to think it's maybe a little sparrow or the dove, but no. This bird is really the phoenix that in mythology that uh, dies and its ashes from the fire uh, creates a new birth. That is what they're going to initiate, people. That is what they're going to initiate. The New World Order will be initiated through the destruction of the phoenix and it rise again out of the ashes. But to do that, that means you have to have destruction, massive destruction. And there, that's where the military comes in. Did you notice in the inauguration they had a sea of military there, National Guardsmen. I think they said 60,000. Some big amount was mobilized in strategic areas. Are they about to do something, people? Are they about to do something? They want to possibly create a spark. See, that's also why they use the LGBT, I'm sorry, the Black Lives Matter organization and Antifa because they are the tool to spark the destruction I perceive in the major cities of America. These are Democrat dominated cities that utilize these two organizations that are filled with physical violence against people, even middle-aged people. We've all seen it on social media. You do not see the right beating up people, but they want you to give a false. They want to give a false narrative that the what do you call it? The white supremacists are in effect, but that is a lie. You do not see the white supremacists. You see Antifa. You see Antifa, a white organization, a Zionist organization, I believe. Both organizations are Zionist backed. So, how is that Zionism and the American government? What does that have to do with America? Well, perhaps it's the Zionists that control America and that the communist Chinese are the um, country that would be bringing in the cheap labor. See, there's almost a billion and a half. That's the B as in boy. Almost a billion and a half or more Chinese people, and yes, there is slavery in China. A lot of those products I found out Apple, and I have an Apple. I found out that Apple utilizes slave labor from China to build its equipment. I just found this out. So, how could you then have black people in the inauguration promoting China who uses slave labor? That's because human lives don't matter, people, to them. It doesn't matter to them. So, this is again another Hypocrisy, hypocrisy in the making. They're using China to uproot America so that it continues to get the, how do you say, the jobs. See, Trump said America first, America first, America first. Well, the system said no. We want to utilize China because it's cheap labor, slave labor. And so they did by any means necessary to get rid of him, cheating on the election. But yet, I thought black people were about freedom and wanting freedom. So, why are they now upholding communist China who utilizes slave labor? And then using all these black people in their shell, because this is part of the illusion to trick the masses to make you think that you're included, but you are being lulled and you will be uprooted and forced into concentration camps, in my opinion. In my opinion. So, they had in New York this past Monday a riot on Martin Luther King Day, threatening people and causing physical harm to this tiny little lady who was among many people who was just live streaming this protest. And they get it so cocky, these groups that were primarily Black Lives Matter and Antifa, to harass people. This was not about love of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who is a man of peace. They are again mocking you, black people, by bastardizing the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by committing acts of violence, doing weird gestures with your body, and beating up people who have a right to stand and watch a protest. See, it's not about peace, it's about chaos. These are the thugs, the real Nazis that are being employed. You know, the brown shirts of Nazi Germany were the bullies of the bully force of that organization, the Nazi movement of Germany at that time. And this is America's version of it, which is using Antifa and Black Lives Matter to do the same type of harassment. So you cannot have your own opinion. You cannot stand at a park without being harassed and an umbrella being shoved in your face and other horrific things, and like eggs being thrown at you and your cameras being stolen, like this young woman that I saw today. I mean, last night. See, open your eyes, people. It's not about liking or disliking any politician. It's about what people are doing. What people are doing today. People are being thugged by certain demographics pretending to be members of a black movement of peace when they are about destruction and your destruction and the destruction of the black family, which includes the black man, the black woman, and their children. Did you know with this administration, with Pelosi, she says you can no longer say the name mother or father anymore, or sister or brother. What kind of nonsense is this? Isn't that like with communism where they want you to say comrade? Everybody's a comrade, but squeal on each other and spy on one another. That is what is happening now. You can no longer say mom and dad, or mother or father, or sister or brother. You have to now say comrade, and to be a spy against your own neighbor. But I say, love your neighbor. I say to love your neighbor. Love your neighbor. Love your neighbor. Yes, you need to love your neighbor as yourself. You need to help one another if you can, if it's safe to do so. But see, that's not what's happening now. You have them now parading the streets, causing havoc. I didn't even know about the march. So I don't know where this information is being passed for all these people. There were massive amount of people that were at the MLK uh, march slash riot. It was horrible, horrible. Yes, people, open your eyes, regardless of your race, religion, orientation. It's about controlling you and ruling you and subjecting you. It is not about freedom. Yes, yes, that young woman, the poet, had the a ring of a caged bird. This is also signifying that you will be the new caged bird. Okay? That is the real significance of this, to give a false illusion of the dove of peace when actuality you are the caged bird, and the phoenix is rising to create a new world order of chaos and the destruction of humanity through GMOs, through what do you call vaccines and the like. Do not take the vaccine. I was told that it has the HIV component to it, the HIV virus in it, and causes sterility primarily in the black genetics. The sterility of the female in particular. Okay, so if you're a black woman, do not take the vaccine because of the HIV component and its sterilizing ability. Do not do this. Do not take it. Well, I've been on long enough. I thank you for this opportunity to share with you my thoughts, the significance of this beautiful young lady who was a poet at the inauguration that just passed a couple of days ago. Do not be deceived. Do not be deceived, people, because you are next. Stay safe. Keep your eyes open, and you may need to stay inside to protect yourself. Spread the word of awareness to everybody, okay? I thank you for listening. Peace, love, and joy to you all. I thank you for listening. Take care, guys. Bye bye.